I'm in DC, first meeting with Sarah Teach, which is a pretty cool name. She's SEO at Motley Fool. And we're going to be talking about a bunch of topics, specifically probably around what she likes to call conscious capitalism in SEO, and then also talking about conscious SEO in general. So it should be interesting to have this conversation about a little bit of a different type of topic in SEO, and I'm looking forward to talking to her.
Hey, it's sponsor time. You heard me talk about Ezoic before. They recently launched their Site Speed Accelerator, which instantly guarantees an 80+ Google page speed score, improving your website's UX and ranking. What you may not know about Ezoic is that they are primarily a technology for publishers. They're best known for helping content creators automate complex operations related to monetizing their content. The platform lets publishers create experiments that machine learning will then execute to help publishers increase ad revenue and balance user experience along the way. If you'd like to learn more about Ezoic, the Site Speed Accelerator, or their complete platform for publishers, you can visit www.ezoic.com. Sarah Teach, that's an amazing name. Anybody ever say that before? You probably get that all the time.
I do get it all the time, and it's funny, when I was a kid, I really wanted my name to be like, Martin or Smith or Jones, but as I've become an adult, actually the SEO agency that I worked at was sort of what started calling me Teach. And there's a tremendous number of Sarahs in the world and not a tremendous number of Teaches, so it really works.
It does work. I guess it was hard being in school, elementary school, being called Teach. I guess so. I guess that makes sense. Maybe, I don't know. Any event, can you tell people who you are outside of your name? So. It's a great name. You can brand that to Wazoo, I think. So anyway, please tell people who you are. Brand it up.
All kinds of fun stuff. So I am Sarah Teach. I am an SEO content strategist at the Motley Fool, so I lead up the evergreen content SEO team for our stock investing content on Fool.com.
Cool, and you dabbled in SEO when you were an intern, right? That's what you told me?
I dabbled in SEO. When I was in college, I wrote for a content mill, for lack of a better word, back in the days of keyword stuffing and all that fun stuff. As a person getting a degree in writing from JMU, go Dukes, I didn't feel awesome about the content that I was putting out, but I mean, it paid for textbooks, so there it was. Then as my capstone course for my degree, I got this internship at this weekly paper on Nantucket Island, and we lightly used, some keyword research to inform some of our topics for our digital content, but nothing too serious. When I really started recognizing the power of SEO was when I quit my job and bought an RV and lived and traveled in an RV for a year and a half and freelanced.
So what did you do while you were in the RV? What did you do with SEO while you were in the RV?
So really, that was like
stuff,
a year and a half of an epiphany in the making. I was with my husband and our cat in a 28-foot RV for a year and a half, which was about a year too long, I'll say. And we were creating digital assets for a number of different clients. And we were spending so much time, creating these really perfect, wonderful videos and, blogs and helping folks stand up website content. And I kept thinking, it's a shame that not very many people are going to see this really good work. Most credit to my husband on that. So I started realizing the power of search, the power of SEO, and I found this awesome little company in the DC area, an SEO-focused digital marketing agency named Knucklepuck, started by Brett Snyder, who is a former seerer, buddy of Will now. And that was where I really learned, kind of from the ground up, the actual basics of doing good SEO, getting out of the keyword stuffing type stuff. That's what I think a lot of people outside of SEO think of SEO as, but learning at Knucklepuck was by far the best career decision that I've ever made, and I'm super grateful to Brett and Anthony Cacavelli, who I secretly call my SEO mentor. He would be embarrassed to hear that, so there you are.
What'd you do with the RV?
I sold it, man.
When? Before Knuckle?
Yeah, just before Knucklepuck. Right. When you're kind of living all by yourself, away from your tribe, and you're like talking to your cat, like actually talking, like tell me about yourself kind of talking, then you're like, all right, I should probably be, in a metropolitan area next. That should be my next move.
And you've been here in DC for how long?
For about 4 years.
And you're at the Motley Fool now, right?
Yes, I'm at the Motley Fool. Maybe I should call that my best career move. It has, going from an agency to in-house, I know that it's a commonly discussed topic among SEOs. To me, I felt more at home in-house because you can really dig into deeper SEO issues. When you're consulting, it's kind of like, you get this firestorm of messiness a lot of the time, and you have to just focus on getting the basics in place. But when you're in-house and, really focusing on a specific issue and you have a squad around you, that's when you can get really, really deep into solving more complex SEO issues.
I hear that a lot, and some people love the firestorm of like all these diverse projects. Some people like to focus in on one specific project and kind of like go into the nitty gritty. And it's not just SEO, it's web development, it's PR, it's anything you're really doing. That agency versus in-house thing is always the same.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is pretty cool. At least in my field of web development, all the programmers that work for us hate to work on one project. They all want a diverse set of projects, whereas you speak to people who work at specific companies, they love working on a specific project and just focusing on that. And I guess you gotta like appeal to different types of people, and it's nice to see that you like to focus in because you could get into the nitty gritty about pretty much everything. And there's no real, I guess, budget per se. I mean, there's always budgets, but there's no real like hard set budget where you can only spend an hour on keyword research and 35 minutes on link building or whatever. So
I mean, hey, billable hours.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. So, all right, let's go into the topics. You had some interesting topics you wanted to discuss.
Yeah.
I don't know, is it wrong for me to call the first one Heartfelt SEO?
I would call it that. While I was in the agency world, I had a unique opportunity to work doing SEO for a large drug and alcohol addiction recovery conglomerate. And that space is just so intense and, sensitive. And in our world of users and conversions and all that, I think it can sometimes get lost just how personal our work is. So working in that space really challenged me to readdress the way that I approach my audience. I talked on the phone and I cried on the phone with this father whose 14-year-old son had passed away from drug abuse, and it was just mind-blowing to know, okay, we have this power, this like ring of power that we have to use for good as SEOs, because you can really impact people's lives. And of course, Google has thought of this, YMYL, but
because there's a lot of bad stuff out, at least used to be, probably is still today, a lot of bad stuff out there where people kind of want to monetize all the evil, or not evil per se, but all the negativity in the world and all the even situations that are horrible. Like death is one of, like they say, marriage and death are one of the areas that people spend the most money on. And you spend obviously more money on the marriage side on the birth side versus the death side. But people in a state of emotional distress will spend whatever they have in their pockets and beyond. Yeah. And there's a lot of people, I guess, nasty people out there that will go ahead and take advantage of those situations.
Right.
And you're saying, in general, when it comes to SEO, that you should, when you're writing for that audience, and then you're producing content for the audience, you have to consider who's reading that and kind of make sure to write it in a way that it's not just helpful and useful, and you have services that might be able to be applied to help that family through the situation, but write it in a way that you're reaching to that person at a level that they understand in that emotional state.
Yeah. For example, one technique that was kind of a revelation for us was, instead of saying like, the patient or something, referring to the patient in the content, no parent or spouse or sibling is going to be searching that way.
Right.
And so we started referring in our content to like your child or your loved one. Right. And I think that made a big difference in the way that our content was received. So
not just by the person reading it, I guess the person in that situation, but also by Google?
Yes. In fact, we saw pretty significant success, and that I attribute to, really taking the time to understand our audience. And of course, there's all the behind the scenes on page stuff that goes on that we had in place for those properties.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard, at least in the YMYL space, the EAT space, people talk about writing content for the emotional aspect of the situation. I've heard about people talking more about, all right, make sure your content's reviewed by an expert. Make sure a doctor's reviewing it. Make sure you cover the topic in a really scientifically factual way that actually helps people. Of course, help people. But nobody thinks about, all right, who's reading it per se, and are you connecting with that person? And I think that kind of takes it to another level, which I like that. I like how you called it like heartfelt SEO and stuff like that. It's nice. Let's move on to the other term you kind of talked about. I think it was conscious SEO.
Yeah, so this just so happens to be a current event in my life right now. I'm reading this book called Conscious Capitalism, and it talks about capitalism as a tool that is currently in its current state broken. But if you practice, if businesses practice what they do from a conscious state of being conscious of all stakeholders, taking care of the people that they're serving, taking care of their customers, their employees, and all, yes, shareholders, etc. But you can really elevate everyone if everyone is being compensated appropriately for the value that they're bringing to the table. It just so happens that one of the co-founders of my company, the Motley Fool, has just helped to start a conscious capitalism chapter in the DC area. So we had our first meeting the other night, and I felt like I walked away with the key to life and just recognizing how important it is to think about people in everything I do, even as an SEO, whether you're doing SEO for people going through this horrible, loved one being addicted or something, you're really making an impact. Or whether you're Tyler Reardon at Chewy.com, making sure that people have nutritious food for their pups and all that good stuff. We have the power to make a positive difference for people by bringing them the information that they need. And that's why I have above my desk actually a picture of John Mueller, and he's saying, be yourself, not your keywords. To me, that's kind of what it boils down to, just really retaining that authenticity and basically not rocket science, just the stuff that Google tells us to do. Talk to your audience, create the best answer for your audience. I remember chatting at the Google Webmasters Conference in Mountain View a few weeks ago this fall, and asking a Googler on the search product team whether he felt a sense of responsibility every day in his work. Do you go into work every day and think like, I have this power to impact the world and I need to use it responsibly? And he's like, absolutely, every day, that is my mission. Right. And I think being there and meeting the search team had such a huge impact on the way that I think about Google. I mean, Alphabet for shareholders out there.
Right, and I think so. They're not going to say no. I don't feel responsibility. They are probably run the most important website out there, and it's nice to hear. Again, I think both those topics you brought up kind of go hand in hand. It's like obviously being yourself, being genuine. Only if you're a good person. Only if you're a good person. Right. If you're a horrible person, be somebody else. Be a nice person. And again, reach out to the users. I guess if you're writing about a evil topic, you're genuinely evil, that's fine. But it's nice. It's nice to hear about that side of things and how being genuine about caring about people, talking to people in a way that if you were in that situation, you want to be talked to, how that might not just help users reading your content, but also help you rank better in search, which ultimately helps the user who's reading it because they find it in search. Exactly.
I mean, my theory for years has been Google will catch up sooner or later. So if you're writing content that you know is kind of subpar, the day of reckoning will come. For sure. Anyway, thank you so much for doing this. Could you please tell people how they could follow you, where they can learn more about you? Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. I am at Sarah the Teach, and hit me up, say hi. Glad to connect with other SEOs or folks in the digital space.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Barry.
So how's that from Sarah Teach? First, great name, like I said before, but more importantly, writing content with heart, emotion, and care in mind. Just an amazing topic to discuss, and I'm glad she took the time to educate me on that topic. Definitely follow her, learn more about her, and I'm sure she has lots more to share with you. So looking forward to that.